My Lord and my God, I firmly believe that you are here, that you see me, that you hear me. I adore you with profound reverence. I ask your pardon for my sins and grace to make this time of prayer fruitful. My Mother Immaculate, Saint Joseph, my Father and Lord, my guardian angel, intercede for me. There are few more devastating things that we can suffer in this life than the fact of betrayal. When friend or family member or somebody in a position of responsibility or respect suddenly turns on us, that is a real defeat from within, where friend becomes enemy. That is a hurt that penetrates deeply into our souls. And the experience of betrayal can be one that is very hard to remove from our hearts. We can carry it around for years. And one single act of betrayal can be enough to cause us a lot of pain for a long time. Well, today, in our Lenten journey, as we come ever closer to your sacrifice for us on the cross, Jesus, we meet these two decisive betrayals. One would be more than enough. But at this Last Supper, when you gathered your disciples for the most intimate moment of their whole discipleship, one of them betrays you, and the other makes the most ludicrous statement that announces his own betrayal. And the setting of this meal is so special that the mere mention of betrayal throws them into confusion. And when you say that one of you will betray me, it's enough to set them all wondering what on earth you could be talking about. And so Peter intimates to John to ask him who it is. Who could be the one who is going to betray Jesus? Because certainly none of us want to be the one to betray you, Jesus. And so we must always be looking for somebody else, because there's no way that we would desire that. And so we have to think the same for the disciples too. It couldn't be me. Who is he talking about? Which one of my brothers sitting around this table is going to treat Jesus in the most appalling way? Who is it, Lord? John asks Jesus. And you say it is the one to whom you will dip the bread into the dish. And we read in the Gospel, he dipped the piece of bread and gave it to Judas, son of Simon Iscariot. The mere mention of Judas is enough to sting our tongue. He is the betrayer above all others, the one who handed you over, Lord, to be crucified. But who is Judas? Yes, we know he is the one who betrayed you, but we know little about his motivation. Maybe he became disillusioned at some point. Even though he'd witnessed your miracles, he had been party to the preaching that you had proclaimed in the Sermon on the Mount and to the poor of Israel. Something happened in his heart that it didn't find a home. And whatever we might speculate about Judas, he certainly was weak. This is the moment when Judas's betrayal really sinks in. But let's read that gospel again in a slightly different light and see ourselves in the place of Judas. Because we are being invited to reflect not just on the betrayal of Judas to you, Jesus, but all the moments whenever we ourselves have maybe become disillusioned, those moments whenever your words have not found a home in our heart, and those moments when we have been weak too. He dipped the piece of bread and gave it to you, to me. This is an incredible act of hospitality on the part of Jesus. To take this little morsel of bread or meat, whatever it was, to dip it in the herbs that prepared for the Passover sacrifice, and to give it to one of those who were gathered at the table. It's a sign of intimate friendship. Here we see in this moment Judas, who is literally on the brink of collapse. All of these thoughts of betrayal have already been in his heart. Jesus offers him one last act of intimate friendship to save him, to bring him back from that brink, to bring him into a closer intimacy with him. But Judas is not capable of receiving it. And he leaves the light of the world to enter into the darkness of night. We've all been in that position. The next time we are faced with a huge temptation, when sin is standing there right in front of us, when it has taken grasp of our heart, let us remember that even in that moment, Jesus is dipping the morsel in the dish and offering us a chance to escape. He's offering us all of his love as a means to draw us away from that sinfulness and come closer to him. But Judas refuses that one beautiful act of love on your part, Jesus. And so you dismiss him and say, go and do what you're going to do quickly. We see, Jesus said, you are in control of this situation and not Satan. Even though Judas has allowed his heart to follow after sinfulness, that the prince of this world has a greater hold on him than you, the light of the world, it is you who are dismissing him. In other words, Judas going out into the darkness of the night to arrange for this moment of betrayal in the garden is all through your instigation. None of this act of sacrifice is because it is imposed upon you, Lord, but you are doing it freely because you love us. And now you are glorified. Now the Son of Man has been glorified, and in him God has been glorified when Judas goes out, because freely, Lord, you choose to accept this act of sacrifice and to offer to the Father everything that you have to give, which is your life for the salvation of the world. And then we come to the second betrayal, which is a little bit more nuanced. It is that of Peter. Well, Peter doesn't quite get it. And Peter says that he's going to follow you always, Lord. He's going to lay down his life for you. And to that you ironically answer that before the cock crows, Peter will have disowned you 3 times. Now we'll have to wait until Thursday to read this as part of our Lenten journey. But we know the betrayal of Peter well, even in this moment when it is sort of foreshadowed for us. But Peter, even in this moment, to your great frustration, we can only imagine Jesus does not get it. But maybe we don't get it so much either. There are times, Lord, when we are faced with the immensity of your love and we don't get it. We don't receive it in the manner in which it is given. You are suffering all of this for us, Lord Jesus, and you are offering us such an escape from our sin because you are offering us your love, which is made concrete for us in the path of Christianity that you have taught us. You've offered us concretely your grace in the sacraments, in confession, and above all in the Eucharist, to receive you body, blood, soul, and divinity. But how often our sin gets in the way. Lord Jesus, help us to escape that sinfulness that takes hold of our heart and to glorify you, to take up our cross because that is an honour for us to share in your sufferings and to go forth with you to Calvary. I give you thanks, my God, for the good resolutions, affections and inspirations that you have communicated to me during this meditation. I ask your help to put them into effect. My Mother Immaculate, St. Joseph, my Father and Lord, my guardian angel, intercede for me.